Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm here. I'm in full screen. I'm ready to go. How are you guys today? How was your week? How are you enjoying Aries and Aries? Neptune's entry into Aries. I think it's been interesting this week. I've actually enjoyed the energy so far. It's hovering over my south node. Are my glasses dirty? I'm going to kind of meander, stall till I see the room start to fill up a little bit. We have a lot to talk about. Oh, the room just emptied out completely. Well, that's all fine and dandy. Oh, and you're back. And you're gone. And you're back. And you're gone. All right. I'm just going to kind of meander, as I said. Let me just click on this. All right. I think I can see okay. So I'm just going to kind of, until somebody shows up in the chat and I start seeing a good morning, I'm not going to start talking about the transits just yet. But I will talk about Neptune entering Aries and how it's affected me. Good morning, MK Mountain. Good to see you. We're giving a couple minutes for people to meander in. Neptune, we have retrogrades, it could be a minute before we get a little steam. But I want to just offer this because, well, a couple things. Neptune's entry into Aries on my south node has made me realize that I can only do so many things. So I sort of gave up the Love and Money Tarot monthly. I don't know if I gave it up, but I have not done it this month. Good morning, small wildflowers. You couldn't find me this morning. Maybe that's Neptune hovering over my south node. Yeah, retrogrades we're going to talk about it. Okay, so as the room fills up a little bit, I'm kind of stalling on purpose because we have some, I think, important things to talk about. And what I was going to tell you is I have gone down the rabbit's hole on this app called Design Homes by Jenny and Dave Mars. I am having the most fun designing rooms. I'm just going to show you my phone real quick. Good morning, little grasshopper. I'm going to text you when I get done with the show. We'll figure it out. But I have to show you guys this because literally I've been designing rooms for, I'm like crazy. Okay. It's this app where you go in and they have these challenges and people design these rooms. Good morning, DJ. And it's so much fun. I literally can sit down on a chair and an hour goes by and I'm not on TikTok watching people dance and I'm enjoying it. I love design. That's my Taurus moon in the first house. And this is probably the most fun I've had on an app in forever. So if you guys are feeling lazy, if you feel like you don't want to do anything, if you're feeling like a little overwhelmed even potentially, that's the beginning of this new energy of feeling Neptune move into Aries on the 0 degree, no less. So, all right, so we got 10 people in. Let's talk a little bit. And the money that will keep them. I mean, I want to say it this way, because when I started thinking about manifesting a house, I got into my muggle mind and I started thinking about, wow, you got to have homeowners insurance and you got to pay an HOA and you got to, all these weird other things other than just rent. But then I realized that, and I just said, you know what? I'm not going to worry about the Saturnian things about it. I'm only going to think about the Neptunian things about it. And that's kind of what I want to talk about here, because the stellium continues. And this week, Mercury and Venus will move direct. So right now, as we speak, the North Node is at 27 degrees of Pisces. Mercury is retrograde at 26 degrees. Venus is retrograde at 25 degrees. And Saturn is direct at 25 degrees. This, to me, is bringing up potential feelings of, is anything ever going to change? Is it always going to be like this? Oh my God, is the hill always going to be arduous? Do I have to climb? Good morning, Katerina. I said good morning to everybody. Yeah, okay. And I said, good morning, little grasshopper, I think, because I want to offer this. Saturn has been, over the last 2 years, really tasking us, okay, in a way that feels burdensome, okay, to recognize where our fears come from. And fear, I mean, if I'm standing on the Empire State Building, okay, I'm afraid. All right. If I'm in a burning building, I'm afraid. That's kind of like survival fear. But when we're in an emotional fear or fear about, things that we want, our dream home, our dream relationship, our dream job, that is where Saturn is getting up your grill. It's like, what do you really believe? Are you going to be pessimistic? Are you going to be stoic in your day job? Are you going to feel depressed, but at least you're paying the bills, or at least the relationship? I have a relationship, even if it sucks, because I think that Venus and Mercury's retrograde and their moving direct are bringing in situations, people, events, circumstances that the Neptune Saturn conjunction is going to address later. Bring up, like, how are you really going to assert yourself towards your dreams? Will you let these two planets that can be extremely challenging, Neptune and Saturn, as we're ramping up, everything that's going on in March and April is teeing up how we're going to respond when we move into the summertime. And some of us are going to experience magic, and some of us are going to experience mayhem. Okay. All right. So this is where I'm going. The fear that Saturn offers, okay, is really the hard work or the discipline or the awareness journey, as I like to put it, is, am I playing to somebody else's version of me? Am I playing to, because that's Neptune in Aries. Hey, Mr. Wu, welcome to Sunday morning. This is so powerful because more and more people are, like, what I like to be called, being activated. Okay. Activated in a way that's like, I've hit an age where I don't want to do anybody else anymore. I've hit an age where I can no longer be in an imbalanced relationship anymore. I've hit an age where I no longer want to play to poverty or play to somebody else's version of who I am and what I want to be. So here we are with Venus, Saturn, mostly, okay, Venus and Saturn both today being at 25 degrees, making a trine to Mars in Cancer at 25 degrees. Mars is in Cancer in its fall, but Mars has been in Cancer and previously in Gemini, really examining how I assert myself with my thoughts. How do I assert myself with my emotions? How do I interact with other people? Am I inspiring them like a good little soldier, or am I beating them down? Okay. This is so powerful because this is where the rubber meets the road. And literally, which direction will you go? Because as we have been spending time spiritually connecting through Saturn's higher vibrations, I think DJ said it earlier, through discipline. We've been coming here every Sunday. That's a discipline. That's a gathering of people that are with the same sort of intention, right? I have a big smudge mark in the middle of my glasses. Hold on. And I think this is where we're going to be so enriched, because the stellium is in Pisces. And what does Pisces represent? It represents the access of suffering and self-undoing. The hard work that Saturn has been tasking us with is, why are you pessimistic? Are you pessimistic? Are you feeling depressed? Are you feeling responsible because you are actually working on something that you want, or it's just something that's been handed to you, or somewhere where you've given up your power? And because there's always those moments in life where, like, maybe this is as good as it gets. Maybe this is as good as it gets. Maybe there is no real dream home for me. I'm 65 years old. I live alone. I don't have a husband. When I think about sometimes what a house could represent, the money pit, but which road will I choose? Will I choose the dream home idea, or will I choose the holy shit, I'm going to die by myself in an apartment? That's what's going on right now. What will you choose emotionally? You know, the thing, and I always say this to you guys almost every week, the moon is the most powerful planet in your chart because the moon not only represents your emotions, there is this whole side of the moon, literally, that earthlings never see. It faces space, it faces God's country. Okay. And that's why the moon is so powerful because when we connect to God's country instead of the dark side of the moon, where I'm depressed and I lay around thinking life sucks, you know? I mean, which road will you choose? DJ, I'm so like I'm right there chiming with you today. I'm right there. I mean, not that we aren't often, but I'm right. I totally think that this is what's going on. So I've been saying to myself, geez, what is going on with my glasses, my hair, my eyeballs? How am I when I look at my transits and I look at my south node here, I'm like, wow, what could what could this transit trigger for me? Am I giving my power away to events and circumstances that may come my way? Or do I know that whatever circumstances and events come my way are simply an opportunity to feel my empowerment, to feel my evolution, to feel my awareness, to feel my balance through disruption? Because Saturn and Neptune, they're not like, hey, party time, especially Saturn. Maybe Neptune's a little party time, but if you're on the depressed side of party time, obstacles are opportunities. One coin, two sides, just like the moon. Which direction will you look? Because if we really think about it, and I haven't said this in a while, but I know you guys have heard this from me before. If we make some sort of rocket trajectory into our dreams, it feels unstable. It feels like I didn't work hard enough for it. I may not know how to overcome something that walks across my path that could feel disruptive. But when I have done Saturnian work, and the Saturnian work is not the pounding of the pavement, it's why am I pessimistic? Why do I feel restricted? Why do I give up my power to authority? Why do I limit myself? What am I building for myself? In Pisces, Saturn is like, where are you getting in your own way? Literally. And will you be willing to do the awareness work of being like, hey, I've been disconnected from my truth. I've been disconnected from my soul. And that's Mars right now. So the other thing I wanted to bring up is Mars is in a sextile to Uranus and Taurus. And that is exact as well, 25 degrees. So we've got 25, 25, 25, 25. The 25th degree is the Aries degree. I'm sorry, I had to just think for a second and double check myself in my head because I talk too fast. I think this is about being brave in my assertion to allow what has been to be, because it is what it is and it is where it lives. And if it's in your brain living all the time, then you're dragging your Saturnian history into your future. And that's what Mercury and Venus have been bringing up. Venus is about your money, your self-worth. Thank you, DJ. Love you so much. She's about your partnerships. She's about, do you create beauty for yourself? I have a busy mind, and sometimes when I try to relax, I can't. I turn the TV on and I cannot sit down and watch a TV show. I'm constantly hitting rewind. But this little app where I'm designing rooms and homes, I could sit down for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's so much fun. So I want to offer this. If you're feeling funky and you cannot connect to your soul, your spirit, your feeling, the retrogrades are messing with you, don't try to push on that. I tell people all the time, especially like my Virgos, my mercurial ruled people, do something with your hands. Paint a piece of furniture, do some coloring, maybe a crossword puzzle. This is a form of meditation. And that will help calm your mind. It'll help at least put it in park for a minute. And this will help epiphanies to come through during this time. Because I was thinking the other day, okay, so I'm such a weirdo I mean, certain things I'm so weird about. When I first moved into this apartment, the heater was different. I think if you look in some old videos, you can see the old rusted heater. When I first turned it on, it was so loud to me that I couldn't stand the sound. I mean, literally, like it was like torture to me. So I turned off the pilot light and I did not use that heater for 15 years or something. I used a biomat and I would plug it in the wall and sit on that. When they replaced this thing, they found a piece of wood like this big. Okay. It was probably bigger than a 2x4. Maybe it was like a 3x4 or something, but it was at the top of the heater. And if I had used that gas heater, I would have burnt this building down. Spirit is always watching over us. And part of our job, and this is what Saturn is offering us, is to look for how they're off. Because sometimes disruption is saving your ass. Sometimes, walking through something very distasteful gives you this feeling like, okay, if I made it through that, I can make it through anything. Honestly. Okay, one more unprecedented plug for, what is the name of this app? Design Home. So much fun. If you're into, if you have a Taurus moon like I do in the first house, or if you like, home design, or you're creative, have a Venus ruled chart, this could be a really fun way for you to do your own kind of vision board. I think was it DJ? Did you say that earlier? Might have been MK Mountain. I'm not sure, but you're right on it. Maybe it will bring that house in. Who knows? I didn't even think that. I already surrendered the house. I'm about to buy floors. I'm planning floors for and I'm going into construction. Okay. This is the thing I forgot to say. Oh my gosh. The window leaks again. Okay. And it's been, because the landlord hates me, right? So it's been like a month and a half or month since I put in the initial deal. And so they're coming on Tuesday. And I don't know, but he's planning on being here Tuesday and Wednesday, and he has to perform surgery into the wall, remove the window, maybe replace the black paper. I'm telling all of you this because I may not be able to do Wednesday, and not because I don't want to do it, because it may be like a construction zone in my house. And so look on the community board. I'll keep you posted. I'll know more Tuesday afternoon. Whether or not Wednesday is going to happen. Because as I said earlier, which I don't know if everybody was in the room, I don't know if I can do Wednesday tarots every week and do the monthly tarots and the monthly horoscopes and all my personal clients and clean my house, sleep, and lose my mind on my app. So I'm thinking something's got to go. I don't know if it's going to get loud. That was my concern as well. He says he's performing surgery. So I think he's going to cut a slice out of the wall and then try to peek in and see if everything that protects all the water coating stuff, that Tyrex paper they put up, if it's disintegrated. And there's 100% chance that's true. That's what I think. So anyway, we'll see. All right. I'm going to start now. That's the rumor with Aries. Oh, I got to tell you, the maintenance people up till now were nincompoops. Yeah, I think he will fix it. This guy, I have to tell you, it's kind of funny. A couple things. Total bohemian, 70-year-old guy, getting an opportunity. So he's excited. Yeah, they always go with the cheapest option. Exactly. This is why it's been 10 years of a leak. And really, anyway, don't get me started. You know how I feel about that. Hold on, give me a second. Is she canceling? Okay, no, she's not. All right, we are actually starting now. I'm just going to give her a thumbs up for a confirmation. Where is my thumbs up? Okay, I'll do a woohoo instead. All right. No, it's just someone confirming. They work in a restaurant, so sometimes they get out early. All right, here we go. Starting with our Aries. Happy birthday to all my Aries sons. I got to tell you, if you're an Aries sun, everything I said at the beginning of this video is so important for you because this conjunction is coming on your sun, which means that it's going to ignite and activate your ego. Now, let me offer this. The ego is not always negative. Do not villainize your ego. Your ego contains exciting God opportunities. And your preparation with Saturn's assistance is going to usher those in. So this is why I say, fear not. Because my South Node is there. So something's going to trigger a habit of some kind. Aries sun, hey, posted up, and stellium. You are a peaceful warrior here to learn and assert yourself because that is all about you. It'd be interesting to see where that stellium is, if it's in the 12th house or the first house. All right, here we go. Aries rising moon, sun, and stelliums. But I really think Aries moon, this is so powerful. But it's not that it doesn't dictate your chart. Yep, here we go. Engines have been, what do they say? Gentlemen, start your engines. Here we go. Aries, are in the foundational position is the Four of Wands. It's the springtime. Then we have the Lovers card. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles, something coming in the material, a new beginning. Well, 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 let's see how this looks. And Justice. Oh, I love it. Okay, now I want to offer this. None of us potentially are in the same circumstances, dealing with the same things. And yet, when we do these horoscopes, we always seem to tend to throw everything together. So today I'm going to try to open the space up a little bit. Neptune in Aries, dissolving the negative aspects of the ego, the edging God out, DJ. That's what Saturn has been training us and putting us through for the last 2 years. Now Neptune's higher vibration is exciting God opportunities. That's the difference, because the ego that we want to dissolve is the man-made ego, not the soul's ego. So Aries, the spring is coming. The little bears are coming out of hibernation. There is celebration. There is bounty. There's still, snow on the mountains, but that snow will melt and it will bring water. It will bring things to drink, because in the opportunity or the obstacle is the love card, the lovers. What will I choose? And whatever you choose, it will be coming into the material. It's at the beginning. Now, if we think about the Ace of Pentacles, we oftentimes think of the Pentacles. I don't know why I want to say the winter suit for some reason. I guess because it's last. But to me, this is the beginning of growth. This is something coming into the material. Now, I want to offer this because those of you that are in relationships, this could absolutely have to do with a choice being made about a relationship where the Justice card, this is also legal contracts, but it's also things coming into balance. So there's a couple ways I want to present this, because as in relation to love and intimacy, a decision is being made, something is coming to light, and things will become more imbalanced. Or imbalance. For those that are not in loving relationships, something is happening where the bears to me are representing sort of this. I see the Hierophant right now. I see that Taurus energy. And it's like these bears are coming out with excitement for what is being the potentials of the spring. The Lovers card is making me feel like those of us who have made choices about careers, about actions, of purporting justice, and Aries is the hothead, right? Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars has been going through dang Cancer. So this is where the payoff comes off, right? This is where Saturn in your 12th house, Pisces, has been like helping Mars become the peaceful warrior. That's why this Justice card. So something's coming our way. I'm so excited. This is I feel it. I think y'all know I've been on a long path of balance with a certain entity that thinks they have power over my home and my life. And they're about they're about to get their degree because I'm going to graduate them. All right, here we go. Taurus, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, they have quiet like meditation rooms. That's so fun. You know, I want to offer this, DJ. When I think about getting in shape, I never think about anything but balance. And it's interesting that you would bring this up because I'm going to tell you all something funny. Maybe you won't think it's funny. Maybe you'll think it's weird. But most people, when they think about their body in balance, they try to stand on their legs or they try to stand on their feet. If you will scrunch your gluteus maximus to its tightest, you will find the truth of your core. So whenever you're doing anything and you're standing, like doing dishes or putting dishes in the dishwasher or putting your makeup on or shaving, just scoot your butt together, clench your cheeks and do it for as long as you can and feel your balance come in. Because if you think about it, it's kind of a metaphor, if you let your ass get loose, it throws all your balance off. Most people think your core is here. I don't. I think it comes from your butt. I know that sounds weird. Well, there you go. So your trainer's right. All right, Taurus, rising moon, sun. You learn the greatest things on my channel. Little tidbits of who knows what. All right, Taurus, what's up for you this week? We're using the Star Tarot. Thank you, DJ. Oops. Now, again, I want to kind of remind you all that if you know your natal charts, if you are a late degree rising of any sign, you should really listen to the next sign as well, because that'll be a lot of your first house. All right, Taurus, here we go. In the foundational position, we have the King of Swords. We have the Nine of Swords. We have the Magician. And then we have the Devil card. Ooh, Uranus is going to bring up something. Okay, I'm going to have to do a little clarification here. Hold on. Let's see. All right. Taurus, this is what I want to say to you, because your worry is a form of prayer that doesn't serve you. It puts your attention and intention in the very experience you don't want to have. So this King of Swords is literally, okay, so what does Taurus have to, what's their button? Their button is security, right? Never have enough security, Taurus energy. Taurus moon for sure. Taurus rising for sure. This is about pulling your sights up, looking to the future and starting to recognize that you have been on a journey of awareness. And whatever Uranus has been doing in your first house, because if you're a late degree Taurus rising, Uranus is on your ascendant. And it could be making you nervous. It could be making you feel insecure. It could be making you feel like a little bit, that you're not really driving the bus right now, that circumstances or things around you are driving the bus. And if we think about how many people probably don't watch this show or do astrology, but a lot of people have been affected this year by governmental changes. Saturn, as it approaches Neptune going into Aries. So here's the card of worry. This is your obstacle. And Spirit is saying, as above, so below. And even if you cannot shift your mind from the worry, then it's a really good opportunity for you to recognize how fear works for you. Okay, MK, let me offer you this, because in this Devil card, what I always see is the idea that if you flip the word devil, it says lived. So here's the Capricorn energy inside the Devil. Here's feeling trapped in some ways. Not what do you see that's possible? What do you, in a perfect world, the magic genie in Aladdin showed up, what would you first wish for? Because your wish fulfillment card is here. But part of it is starting to focus in on the idea that whatever is being disrupted, it was not actually serving you in some way. Maybe serving one thing, but it wasn't serving the long-term picture, Taurus. And that's where I'm going. So I think that potentially Mars is sextile to Uranus. And then the idea that Mars is trining the stellium in Pisces. So there's like a whole conversation between these planets. They're pinging off each other. Like think of the pinball wizard, right? And I think it comes from an epiphany. I think that this week that there is some sort of strength that comes from Taurus as they integrate something. And I think their personal history. You know, when we think about Uranus, rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Saturn as well. This is how my mind works. It works in layers. So Saturn's in this conversation with Mars and Uranus. So somewhere we're taking the old, and even though we recognize it, we're building on it by moving it into the future. I hope that makes sense. Okay, good. Because this is what I want to tell you. I have been a hothead my whole life. I've been passionate. I've always been the more assertive friend. You know, some people may think I'm a bulldozer. I don't know if I've ever been called controlling. I don't think that's come into the play, but I definitely, as you see, can get very impassioned in my expression. And when I'm pissed off, holy crap, I'm very powerful in my expression and I don't hold back. So as I've aged, I've learned how to use that as a tool rather than a reaction. I am Mars ruled. So my point here is that we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater to my Tauruses. We're not asking you never to be intimidating. I've been called that a lot, Katerina, but I don't think I'm intimidating. I think those people are sheep. I'm no wolf, you know? So that to me, I will not be dumbed down by people trying to tell me to get into the herd. This is the Taurus energy, looking to the future, allowing Uranus to liberate any old story that is holding you back. You hold the golden coin in your hand. You choose the direction. This looks like a compass to me. It's also a shield, but it looks like a compass. Now we look at worry that isn't there. Worry that is it's imagined. It's an old habit. It's ether. And behind all of this is a web. And here is Mercury. As above, so below. What will you think? Because now when you recognize where you've been limited, you can start to turn that around and think to yourself, sometimes the things that I want to happen, if they happened when I wanted them to happen, I wouldn't have been ready for them to happen. It wouldn't have turned out as good as it can. It's going to turn out better than you think, whatever it is. Okay, on to our Geminis, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, well, I think that's awesome to be 6 feet tall. You don't have to breathe all that muggle air beneath you. I'm only 5'4" 3/4. I don't know. Maybe I'm shrinking. I don't think I've shrunk yet, but I shouldn't say yet. Cancel, clear, delete. And if I keep scrunching my cheeks, I won't start hunching over because that pulls you up too. I don't mean these cheeks. All right, Gemini, here we go. Jupiter's in your first house and about to move into your second house of skills and money. Love that. Well, then, you know what? You can start, I've ever heard of Gabby and Tyler. They're like 6'5" and she's 6 feet and he was like 6'7", or she was like 6'2" and he was like 6'7". They are no longer a couple, but they were a couple. You just get to put to the universe that you find this gorgeous tall man who loves tall women because the air is cleaner up there with you 6-footers, That's the way I look at it. I imagine standing in the market line with all the muggles coughing and sneezing and wheezing and me sucking their air and you're above it. All right. Sorry. This is Neptune traveling over. I'm a storyteller in my own mind. I swear. I tell myself stories. All right. Gemini. Let's see what's going on. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Strength card. We have the Hierophant. And the Hermit. Oh, there's going to be new inspirations for work or potential work or illuminations, but more so, I think, potentially work. That's the way it came across to me. Now, technically, Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, and Sagittarius all square each other, you know. But here is this new ideas, new passions, new fire, springtime. Here is this almost feel like for my thank you, nothing. What an interesting name you have. Um, the strength card is not only Leo, and it's not only, but it's also fortitude. It's about, in this particular deck, Gemini has experience with Jupiter traveling through their first house. Many, you may be thinking a lot about what you want for yourself, how you want to assert yourself, and where your fears have held you back, because the Hierophant is that Taurian energy. And here, this is about your beliefs as well. It's about your talents. It's about money. It's also about religion. And then we have the Hermit. That's 3 major arcana cards. This is an important time for Gemini because I want to offer it this way. You know, Mercury is your ruling planet. Mercury has been retrograde. I believe Pisces is your 10th house, right? Don't I always say that for you, Small? You know, what you want and how you've shown up and the things that you have done for others is now kind of like, I just almost feel like the Venus, Mercury, circumstances, thoughts, events, things that have come up for you as those 2 planets move forward together this week. I think you really have an opportunity to get into that 11th house and start to experience more things. But there is a little part of you that's going to kind of have to allow for that illumination of where you tether yourself to old habits of servitude. And I don't mean that we can't be of service to others, but where do we inadvertently tether ourselves too much? You know, if I don't do it, it won't get done. That could be anywhere, you know. You could be thinking about a neighbor. If I don't do it, it won't get done. Okay. You know, I always find that people who come in the room who are semi-interesting in their energy, sometimes you don't know if they're being negative or positive, because I don't know, what do you actually mean by I look like a Trumper? What does that actually mean? I look conservative? I look orange? I don't look orange. Well, what does that mean exactly? Nothing. I'm curious, not to be argumentative. I'm just curious how you define that. I use Newport Beach as an adjective, and when I do it, people are very clear. Oh, I'm not feeding them, Mr. Wu. I don't think that's an insult necessarily, because Trump was a word long before Donald, okay? Oh, wow, it is a troll. How fun. Well, if I'm so boring, leave the room, buddy. Take your bad attitude and go away. I'm not going to kick you out. Your name says everything. And also the fact that if you're referring to Donald Trump, I'll actually wear that proudly, because if you want, okay, grandma, oh, now you're really showing your intelligence. You can block him. I don't even care. Now I know it's just a child. Age is a privilege, little one. It's fine. I don't care. If you don't have a troll, you're not in the game. So we haven't had a troll on this channel in ages. I want to say this too, because you know what? Before Donald Trump, when people were talking and they play cards, they say, my card trumps your card. So that means I win. Ooh, I'm famous. I don't want to be famous. Honestly, that's terrible. So I will be a trumper, because my energy is going to trump your energy any day, Junior. One who's connected to source energy is more powerful than millions who are not. All right, here we go. I'm on to my Leos now. No, Cancer. Whoa, I almost skipped my Cancers. Bye-bye, nothing. Won't be missing you. All right, that's actually very sad that a child that age feels like nothing. That's very sad. I think we should all say a little prayer for nothing real quickly. Dear Heavenly Mother and Father, please help nothing feel like something. Okay, thank you. On to our Cancers. We have the Hierophant, Venusian, and Jupiterian. There's a lot I see in the Hierophant. The Magician, the Knight of Cups, and the Justice card. Wow, wow, wow. Look at this. We're getting a lot of major arcana. Major arcana really indicates something important is happening. And I absolutely believe it. I believe that, Neptune has not been in Aries since 1862. The ushering in of a whole race of people who went from being enslaved to being free. And I say that in quotes, but that's what's happening again. It's a whole new wave. So here for my Cancers, your belief system. This is Taurus energy, your self-worth. I really believe that Cancer does the best job of taking care of other people when Cancer takes care of itself. When Cancer says to itself, you know what, I love you so much, my child, but I'm not going to take my pooper scooper out and follow you around and clean up your messes. And maybe it's not about children, but whatever it is in Cancer's world, if you think about it, Pluto is opposing you in Capricorn for a long, long, long time. And that was really tasking you, not with your relationships with others, but with your relationship with your own peace of mind, your own self-care. And how do you take care of others? You teach them through experience. As above, so below. I know how to be the hero in my own emotional life. Every one of the knights is a hero. And there's the Justice card. Oh boy. I didn't say I wasn't a fan of Trump at all. I just want to say there's other ways to perceive it. I personally, and I'm going to say it straight up and out loud, anybody, that Harris woman, word salad, I couldn't do it. So, yeah. But all right, I'm excited for you, Cancer. This is a very pivotal time as Jupiter is going to move into your first house. And when Jupiter moves into your first house, expansion of the home, of healing, of hearth, of nurturing, of love, of patriotism, it's all here being offered to you. So there you go. Okay, I'm excited because I'm not delusional about the challenging aspects of these transits. I don't want you to think that I don't know this stellium isn't in the house of self-undoing and troubles, that it isn't bringing up history. But what I feel is a magical opportunity to recognize that I have been aware. And even though I still twist sometimes in my old head and my old behaviors, and I get hot and I need a rage room, I don't act out in a way that shoots myself in the foot anymore. So, there's always a possibility, but for the most part, and thereby Saturn's bringing me rewards. Okay. On to our Leos, rising moon, sun and stelliums. Nikki, I don't know. I think you're new to the room. Welcome. Welcome. So happy to have you here. I love Canada. I honestly want to say I've never met a person from Canada that I did not like. And I know there's people probably in Canada that are distasteful and not nice, but every single person I've met from Canada has been like cool. In fact, sometimes I refer to signs as you're the Canadians of the Zodiac because you're always nice. So I love my friends to the north. All right, on to our Leos, rising moon, sun and stelliums. Oh, DJ, of course. So welcome to our room. We're on to our Leos, rising moon, sun and stelliums. And if you're new to my room, my channel, I really think your moon is so important. Now we go by rising sign because it dictates the landscape of the chart. But your moon to me is the most powerful planet. It's going to dictate how you feel. And aspects to your moon are really important. I was watching a video the other day. I can't think of the girl's name. I really like her. I'll have to go back to my subscriptions and try to remember her name. But she was talking about the most, from her astrological perspective, what the most difficult natal aspects are. And one of them was Saturn square the moon. And that is, I was thinking about it, and it really is, because it's like a big uphill climb, because oftentimes the mother energy stokes, or the mother impression, or how you perceive the mother energy stokes the square of Saturn being restrictive. And so, yeah. Oof. But moon's most important, darlings, because Saturn always brings reward even in a square. Oh, forget about you, darling. That is so hard to have a Rahu moon conjunction. Honestly, it is, because you're ravenous for your emotional body to be satisfied, and the house that it's in tells you what you're ravenous for. A Rahu moon conjunction in Leo would be ravenous to have the audience, But in Libra, it's a little something different. It's peace, especially if it's on the supergalactic center. All right, Leo. Here we go. Our first card is the Devil card. Thank you very much. Pluto is opposing you in your 7th house, and it's about to go retrograde. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune in the opportunity or the obstacle. We have the 4 of Wands. And then we have the Fool. Look at all the major arcana cards that are coming up. Each spread has had 3, I think, major arcana cards. So for my Leo rising, the Devil is going to bring up your fears. This is I bless my Leos, love you so much. If you don't see something happening, you start roaring. You're like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? I think it might be one of the most impatient signs I've ever met. It depends what the combo is, because Leo rising with an Aries sun, God bless you all, little grasshopper, and some of my other clients literally have the same configuration. Completely, I want it now. Okay, this is what I want you to know. Saturn wants to build sustainable structures. Saturn wants to know that whatever it builds is going to last for generations and generations. Saturn wants its name on a plaque, okay? Here's the Wheel of Fortune. Things are shifting for you. And this is a time literally to see yourself in the springtime. Whatever Pluto could potentially be birthing in your 7th house is removing toxicity. It's allowing on some level an awareness about where your fears, your trepidations, your sense of not being valuable enough potentially would start. Pluto's going to break that up. And if there are people in your life that aren't treating you well or treating you the way that you feel loved and cherished, or if there are professional relationships, or if there are dynamics, when we go to that 7th house, it's not just about marriage partnerships. It's about peace and diplomacy and fairness and balance. So wherever there is a lack of that within your lives, you're going to feel Pluto messing it up. And Pluto's going to retrograde back in the beginning of May. It's at 3 degrees. It's going to go back to 0 degrees before it moves forward again. So somewhere you're going on an emotional journey of trusting your moon. Look at that guy. He's wearing yellow. His power comes from the purity of his heart, and his heart comes from his emotions and his moon. And the stars are truly think about it. Aquarius rules space. So the star scepter, the stars above his head, keep your eye on the prize. And frankly, when I look at this card, it's like the stars are reflected in the pool of this history that the crocodile represents. Okay, really fun. So I guess what I'm trying to do is have you all start to reframe some of the challenges in your life as divine disruptions. And that divine disruptions is clearing the debris of depression, of defeat, of anything that doesn't allow you to move your story forward. And sometimes those are jobs that, have a 401k and they have lots of medical insurance and they pay you, a regular salary, but the job itself is eroding your health, and you go to the doctor and he puts you on a drug, and then there's a side effect and it's like, da, 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 da. All of that's going to get rewritten. Woo! Onto our Virgos, rising moon, sun, and stellium. The South Node transit's all about releasing the ego of perfection. That's where that's where I feel like the South Node going through Virgo feels harder to me than other South Node transits, because it's on the axis. The North Node is in the axis of North and South Node are on the axis of suffering, where the only solution is to reach for the divinity within, to trust God, to connect with God. I told y'all, Little Grasshopper is, I told you the turtle story. Little Grasshopper is the owner of the turtle story. Okay. And I don't know if y'all remember it, but Little Grasshopper went on an adventure and Spirit brought turtles across her path endlessly, until literally she was anchored into this feeling like God was traveling with her. Her guides were traveling with her and with her to this day. So I think this is an important dynamic, because as you, Virgo, look at the South Node and be like, am I overly critical of myself? Am I too much of service to other people? Have I enslaved myself to my job or my daily thoughts? So many, Mercury rules so many things in our chart that I don't know which one you could potentially be hooked into. That is, it's a challenge, but it's now time to integrate it. Never throw the baby out with the bathwater, because you always want to have that discernment. But when you can say, oh, am I operating on fear right now or faith? Am I having a thought that serves me, or am I in my loop? That is a shift. Saturn is moving through Pisces to break down where we are getting in our own way, to illuminate it on some level. So people who are drug addicts, who live like, buzzed out and feel like life is terrible, they could OD and die. My friend in January, he died. And I think that was his transits, because he lived so long unhappy that he had a momentum of that and he was ready to go. And his Pisces, all this stuff happening in Pisces, and he has a Pluto, all other things, but he left. All right. Virgo. Virgos are very loyal, but sometimes that loyalty comes out of fear of change. Have you ever thought about it? When you're of too much service to another person, you get to avoid yourself. You get to avoid your own expansion, your own dreams, and it looks good to the other muggles that you're doing service for. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy you helped me with that. Well, they go live their dreams. Okay, I'm going to tell you something, Virgo, because I have this huge theory that I don't know if I've said it, but I'm going to say it now. Virgo is the sign where you take the first 5 houses of your childhood, okay? You take the house of self, being Aries, the house of your talents and skills, being Taurus, the house of your mind, being Gemini, the house of your family dynamic, being Cancer, and the house of your fun and your expression of your talents. And then in high school, then we go into the Virgo energy. We throw everything away that was fun, everything that was talented away, and people start coaching you. What are you going to do to make money? What is practical for you to do in your work life? That is a muggle. That is human structure that gets to be broken down, because what we really should be doing, or what we could be doing, is taking those talents and those skills that we love so much in high school, the football, the drama class, the speech debate class that makes me like politics. We move that into our 6th house and we start doing the things that we love. That is how you are of service to other people. That's how you keep your health at a high level. That's how you feel great in your mind. And that's what you take into your partnerships. But no, we throw the baby out with the bathwater. And it's just like human nature. The minute you get to the 6th house, the fun is over. Your child is over. Nothing is good anymore. And get out there and think about other people. That's the South Node. You get to let all that go. Bye-bye. All those thoughts. See you later. Adios, muchacho. Tschüss. Auf Wiedersehen. Good, Stephen. Good you made it. I'm so happy you're here. All right. Let's do the reading for Virgo now that I've given you my new rewrite, my reframe of the Virgo energy. And I hope you all hang on it, because I think it's the new wave. I'm totally a rogue rebel when it comes to everything in my life. And nobody's going to tell me that Saturn's making me do something or Pluto's going to do something to me unless I agree to co-create with that planet. And when I co-create with the planet, it's going to be up here because I'm aware. Virgo, use your mind, because your mind, this is the other thing. Your Mercury's exalted in Virgo. So it's not only the ruler of the house, it's exalted. If you have that combination of Mercury and Virgo, you are ultra mercurial. All right. So we have the Eight of Wands in the foundational position, the Three of Cups in the opportunity, the obstacle, the Hierophant in the Angel's Advice, and the Prince of Wands. Wow. Okay, so the Eight of Wands is news, information, conclusions. And when I think of conclusions, I don't think of endings. I think of, I've come to a conclusion. I've come to a realization. I've had an idea. This Eight of Wands is, look at, there's stars around all the crazy lines in here. Okay. So Virgo, this square that Pisces energy is representing for you is probably bringing in all those little, but there's beauty to be had, because when you look at the center of this card is a heart, and all the base chakras are there, right? The red, the orange, the yellow, then we go to the green. This is coming from your heart now. There's time to incorporate and celebrate the wisdom of your moon. Look at these ladies. This is how your cup is full, because you're coming from your emotional body. And now here you can bring in more as you connect to the stars. Literally put your finger on what you want, because it's time to be brave as you venture out with your own new passions. Actually, I thought that was a knight. That's the prince. There's going to be a message of some kind. That's information. But this, okay, I'm going to be a little crazy. I'm going to pull one more card, because I just wonder if it has something to do with potential opportunities for new ways to make money, or opportunities for some kind of expansion. I know Gemini squares you as well, but Jupiter is there. Hold on, let me just pull one card. I know. The princes always, or the pages always bring in a message. There's a message to do with work. Literally, there's the Three of Pentacles. This is potential. Mars and Capricorn. I wonder if some of you are going to experience an opportunity for a shift in your work, or to endeavor some work that brings you more joy and uses your skills. It could be. It could very well be. Kind of exciting. Because if you think about it, Aquarius is your 6th house. There it is, Pluto. Well, you have to keep us all posted. All right, on to our Libras, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Here we go. Here we go. All right, Libra, here we go. That little emoji is so dark, I have no idea what it is, Stephen. All right. We have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Hanged One. Oh, wow. We have the Ace of Swords. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. This is so musical score. Love it. Okay. When I look at Libra, this is so interesting to me, because the Four of Pentacles is a card traditionally where you have everything. You know, it's the Lord. He sits on a chair. He's got the money, but he's holding it all awkwardly. In this particular deck, we see these runes, almost like this swan is trapped within a historic situation. Like, I feel like these are like ruins of some kind. And I feel like when I look at this, that this has nothing to do with Libra actually being stuck, but that they don't see their own beauty. They don't see the sun shining, that you've transformed into the swan. It's been a 2-year process. Look at the dragonfly. Something's been going on for the last 2 years that has honed you somehow. Because to be too cooperative, to be too, look, the shadow side of Libra is freaking passive aggressive. Okay. It's like, oh, I love you. I love you. And then they talk shit behind your back because they're really frustrated, but they don't want to confront because you've been in a pause. And I think what it is about yourself. I think this is about having new ideas, about seeing your own transformation, not looking to the outside world for validation, but rather learning a new sense of how to assert yourself. Look at this. This is ultimately the self-made person who, thank you, Nikki. That's so nice of you. This is the not just a woman, but a youthful energy beyond years, because there's a sense of peace and abundance coming. And this person has healthy boundaries, understands the hues of light and dark. I think for my Libras that this week, as we see both Venus and we're going to have on the 13th, a full moon in Libra at 23 degrees on the fixed star Spica, which is the voice of angels. I will be doing a separate video on that. I really think a lot of us are going to feel a very strong connection with our own. We're going to start to trust that voice inside that feels like, well, I don't know, you could just be wishing, you could just be hoping. No, I don't think so. I think you're moving. I think that you're coming out of a stuck cycle. And I want to offer this too, because in this, the moon is at the very top of this ruin. Look at it. And the moon is in a crescent shape. So the moon is that's what is above you. That's what when you come from your moon, because this is, again, there's a reason why Aries, the self, is in the axis with Libra of others. It's never about giving up the self. It's about bringing the me into the we and having individual ideas and individual adventures and pioneering yourself while being in a relationship. Or it can also be, for me, my Libra sun is in the 6th house. So for me, it's about being of service and in balance to being of service. I have a lot of planets that are in challenge. Like my sun is in fall and my Mars is in detriment in Libra, because my job and my ego, my exciting God opportunity is to help report balance, to help support you seeing the journey as one of awareness, not of ascension. There is no ascension. That's bullshit. Yes, DJ, exactly. Bringing the authentic self into alignment with the heart, because the authentic self is the heart. You're welcome, little grasshopper. Does that mean you don't need to talk to me later today? I have my garden again. Just letting you know. Okay, on to our Scorpios. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And I have to tell you, there's a lot in the Scorpio energy that I think is about responsibility, even more so than maybe in Capricorn. And I'll tell you why. Because Scorpio, whatever you have in Scorpio, if you have Mercury there, you have your sun there, you're rising. Oh, stellium, sunny. There you go. You have a group of planets that is in the most psychological sign of the zodiac. And when you know how to twist somebody and push on their fears and make them feel small and insignificant, Scorpio's evil. It's literally that criminal, okay? But Scorpio on the other side of that, Scorpio knows how to uplift and to empower and like nobody's business, because it has empathy for the journey of the dark side. So when your soul chooses a Scorpio stellium or a Scorpio significant personal planets, you are taking that planet's energy and you're honing it. Scorpio moon to me is absolutely the most intuitive sign of the zodiac. Okay. And I say it all the time. And it's really hard because you know why? When you're young, you know the shit. You know the part that's icky, the nasty, the Pluto stuff. And it's really hard to navigate it when you're young, because People will give you shit. They'll villainize you. They'll tell you you're harsh, you're mean, you're this, and you're really actually super sensitive. Super, super, super sensitive. Maybe more sensitive than Pisces or Cancer. And I'll tell you why I say this. Because Cancer and Pisces will both empathize with the other people. Scorpio, it's about me, okay? It's really, even though it's about other people, it's about how other people perceive me, how they embrace that scorpionic energy, and it can get villainized very easily. And then, the unconscious Scorpio actually purports that, and so people go, oh, you're a Scorpio. So now you use your powers for discernment. You use your powers where you're like, oh, there's a muggle, that's not my people, bye-bye, and you go the other direction. And the hardest part is when it comes to love for the Scorpio moon, because, sometimes you just know it and you step in it anyway. And then you're bad. You're really mad. I love me, my Scorpios, and it pissed me off so much, I got to tell you. Well, there has to be people representing magic on Earth. When I was a little girl, literally, I had to be in grammar school. I used to make my sister sit across. We had twin beds. My mom, my sister, and I all shared one room in my grandparents' house. It was jam-packed. And I used to make her sit across the room from me. And then we tried to laugh, like the scene from Mary Poppins when they go to Uncle Arthur's. I love to laugh, ha, 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 long and loud and clear. I used to try to tell my sister if we laughed hard enough, we would go to the ceiling. We only ran to the bathroom and peed in our pants. That's all that happened. But we did it. Okay. On to our Saggies. Oh, no, Scorpio. I haven't done your reading yet. Right? Right. All right. Scorpio, the Knight of Cups. Oh, there's all that love. The Hermit, reflection and integration. The High Priestess. Oh, my goodness. See, just everything I said. And okay, King of Swords. All right. So here we go. This week. Okay, so, oh, thank you, Mr. Wu. This, okay, so think about it. Scorpio energy trines the Pisces energy, all right? And this is an opportunity for you to be brave within your emotional body, to reflect on where you have inadvertently, God bless us all, not tapped into your deeper truth, into that part of you that is the hero of the scorpionic energy. And here is this King of Swords. Now, this is where I think that Scorpio is being tasked to look at, like, sort of this, being aware of your emotional body and where you've given your love or given your attention or your time or your energy or your money, for that matter, to others. And whether or not, what was the platform of why did I do that? Why have I been in this, entangled in whatever the event, the people, the situations are? Why have I engaged in it? Because I don't know if it's about saying yes or no to it as much as does it serve my future from the place where I look at it, like from Aquarius, that Aquarius energy. What do I want in my future? Does this serve my future? Because this is the other thing too. Scorpio energy rules big finance, like financial institutions, borrowing, lending, big money. So this could also be where you're intuitively looking at where your resources are coming from. And you're starting to understand intuitively that some people will be like, oh my God, the stock market's falling. Oh my God, tariffs. Oh my God, oh my God. And you're like, I'm not so worried. I've got myself covered because I know that one who is connected to source energy is more powerful than millions who are not. This could literally be, oh wait, hold on. This could literally be the Virgo energy as an obstacle, and that something has to slow down a little bit for Scorpio. So you have an illumination that the truth, your magic comes from the High Priestess, from your connection again, which then plays back to the Pisces energy for you and what's happening with Saturn in that house. Because, okay, I just had an epiphany or a memory. Your fifth house is Piscean. That's your house of romance. your house of fun, your house of pleasure. So now you get to really, I guess, get real with that house. Don't entertain people who aren't really aligned or people who want to dumb you down. And if for some reason the Scorpio energy is hot, then go have fun and do something fun instead of addressing the issue. Don't go into the shower and cry. Okay, that's not going to serve you. Focus on the future. Thank you. You guys are so loving. I love you all. Okay. Well, you could cry too, Sonia, when your mom passes. That's not an easy thing. And you're allowed to feel that way. Mars in Pisces, again, is being tasked similarly to Saturn about really being brave. That's the peaceful warrior again. Being, will I let my anger absorb me to the point where I escape through, challenging, there's ways to mask and not take yourself out. I just have a glass of wine every night, but you don't realize. I didn't realize I'm now almost over 3 months sober, and I wasn't trying to be, but I feel so great in the morning. Honestly, I'm astonished. I never thought that alcohol had that big of an effect on me, and I don't know that it was really ruining my life. I've created a lot while I drank wine every night, but I feel so much better since I stopped, and I don't really want to start again. Like I thought the other day when I got tacos, did I want a margarita? But I didn't. I'm so lucky that my mom was such a POS because I don't miss her. I'm not sad about her. I don't want to get anywhere near her. My mom is like toxic waste in a dump in a hazmat suit. It's so great on some level to have a wonderful mom. And I also say this too, because now that your mom's on the other side, you can start talking to her and she can start giving you signs. If you guys, this is a time when Neptune and Saturn are, and all of this transiting, you can definitely tap into people and other. Gosh, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Posted Up. You can start to tap in. Ask a question, okay? Literally say, Mom, I was on this live this morning. This woman said that if I miss you and I cry and I want to, and that's for both of you or whoever misses their mom, right? And then you'll start to see signs. Oh, my mom is such a, oh, my mom. Bleh, bleh, bleh. I literally, I honestly, when I get to the other side, I'm going to so plan a vacation lifetime. Okay. Good parents, a loving sister, a supportive friends. I'm so on an island by myself. I've been saying to Spirit, I'm so tired of my South Node in Aries in the 12th house, being this invisible warrior for peace. I want a team. You're so lucky to have a best friend that's your mom. That's just such a gift. And I want to offer this. It's a co-creation. So acknowledging your co-creations and gifts. We pick them for a reason. Exactly. And my lifetime is not about me. It's not supposed to be. That's not what I signed up for here. It's about other people and me in the meantime. All right, here we go. On to our Saggies, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. So, my mom was my spiritual teacher as well. Oh, you said leader. Yeah, my mom was not a leader. She was a teacher. She taught me to do everything the opposite of her. My mom was a very victim-y woman, very 12th housey. I got to tell you. Not Libra at all. And my mom was a very violent, angry woman. Honestly, she'll punch you in the face so fast your head will spin. It was weird. I was thinking the other day, the last time I hung out with her, I was driving somewhere and she tried to hit me in the face while we were getting on the freeway while I was driving. And for the first time, I grabbed her arm and I told her, don't ever touch me again. And that was really the end of that. All right, Sag, here we go. That's Saturn bringing up history. Strength card in the foundational position. That's Leo energy, the 10 of Swords, a little bit of drama. The Chariot is victory over the polarities, and the Knight of Cups. All right, my Saggies. All right, so the Strength card in this particular deck is the Kundalini energy. That this is the side of Leo that is afraid to chase its dreams a little bit, but it's showing the journey is depicted here. I think my mom was bipolar, or she was just on drugs. I think she was on drugs. You see the 8, the figure 8, the infinity symbol over her core. This is where all the organs are. You see the red color, the snake. This is a journey of overcoming your fears, of overcoming that instinct of fight or flight. Now we see that the events that are coming up here, okay, because this is a drama card, okay? And then we have this Chariot, victory over the drama, recognizing the polarities of the human experience, not just my mother's mind, and being able to come at it with love or to walk away from love. Meaning this, walking away with love. I was reading and thinking at the same time. For my Sagittarius, you rule broadening, you rule expansion, you rule a diversity of beliefs. Your ruling planet is in Gemini right now, which is in its detriment. It is moving forward, having to sort of take these big ideas and put them into the physical world, coming off the mountain and into the valley. And I want to offer this because with the planet having, your ruling planet having been retrograde, making squares to Pisces energy, you may have been feeling this sense of restriction, or even maybe a foreboding, or like history will repeat itself. I don't know. I get this haunting feeling. I don't actually get a feeling like things are happening. This feels more emotional in my mind. And I think it's just about being brave and going, been there, done that. Don't need to do it again. Been there, done that. Don't need to do it again. I'm going through something in the background that I've got a lot of energy on, in the sense of I try to pray in neutral, but I want to be right. I know I'm right. I know I'm on the side of justice. And every once in a while, I get a little worry button, like the bad guy's going to win. And then I think, no, that's not possible, because the bad guy brought me into his life to bring balance. You get where I'm going? Sagittarius, if something's happening, there's an opportunity to bring balance in how you reply, respond, whatever the story is. Oh, parents are so crazy. My dad never really believed in me either. It was total lip service. And, I picked people who didn't believe in themselves. So how could they believe in me? Maybe that was, I think it's a co-creation. So let me tell you guys, since I talked a little bit about my parents, right? My dad was a really nice guy. Everybody loved my dad. Super social, super fun, Virgo. Loved to play golf and drink and go to church on Sundays and be a deacon and sing in the choir. But you know what? He didn't really have that leadership quality. He was a group guy. And when I saw injustice, my dad was more of a don't rock the boat kind of kid. And I was like, what? I'm rocking that damn boat, man. That's not fair. That's not fair. And I used to drive him crazy. And I literally drove him mad, because I wouldn't shift. My Taurus moon would never shift. It's in the first house. And so when my stepmother would read my dad's, like, I would write scripts. I wanted to be a writer for a long time when I was younger. And my stepmother would read my dad the script instead of my dad reading it. There were so many things where they phoned it in, and it was so, like, it just drove me crazy. So as I was growing up, I was a victim to all of these energies. But as I got more aware, this is where my intuition comes from. Literally, spirit uses every one of my experiences like a file cabinet and whips them out. So if I see a dad, my dad at a certain time or a place in his life, or how he affected me, then it helps my client. So this is how I reconciled my experience, and how I gave up forgiveness, because I don't really think I'm very forgiving, because people do the same things over and over again. So I know that I chose these parents because they would spawn something inside of me, not just my own journey of balance, but how I could help others balance. You did luck out, but you did it because you chose them. Maybe this is a vacation life, you know? I mean, vacation lives are not sitting on a beach with a drink in your hand doing nothing. Think about it. Even on vacation, you'll challenge yourself. You'll go out into the ocean. You'll swim with the turtles. You'll, try parasailing. That's so awesome. My brain is so weirdly wired. I got to tell you, Sophia, I think in layers. I literally think like a 10-layer cake. I never see one thing in anything. All right, we're on to our Capricorns, my little goats. I haven't called you that in a long time, but I love my Capricorns. Every significant man in my life was a Capricorn, squaring my Aries. Okay. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. That is the most beautiful thing, small wildflowers. If I had told my dad if he packed a bag and walked away, he would. In fact, my dad told me straight up in a car one day, if you're too much trouble, I won't choose you. I'll choose the woman that I married who wipes my ass and pays my bills and lets me go play golf and drink beer and go to church on Sunday and look like a nice guy. I got a lot of energy on my dad. He was the benign one. He was the one who looked like the nice guy, and he was actually probably more sinister than my mommy dearest mother. I do not have a wire coat hanger in my closet for a reason, and it's not the movie. My mom was crazy. In 7th grade, she stripped me naked and beat me to a pulp with a plastic jump rope. I had to go. The worst part wasn't the beating. The worst part was going to gym in 7th grade in 1972 and having to strip naked in front of my friends and put on my gym clothes. Those are the things I'll never forget. And I hope they see in their life review. I hope my dad sees how he wasn't around. I'm not poor, DJ. I mean, I'll never do that again. Trust me. I'm not incarnating in that shit again. These things happen, It's why I'm so pissy and why I don't tell a lot of my stories. Today, I guess Saturn's having me tell stories, but I don't. Even then, I remember being in grammar school, laying in my bed, thinking to myself about my mother. The minute I get out of this house, you will never see my ass again. I am leaving you in the dust, woman. When you're an old woman, you will never know me. And I left at 17. I left my mother's at 14, moved in with my dad till I was 17, left my dad, and then I never lived with anyone again. My dad, I stayed in a relationship with because he was not the mean one. He was not the beater. He never hit me once. He was just emotionally erosive. But my mom, like, she's just fucking straight up crazy. She's just crazier than mean. She's like, my mom is truly the definition of a narcissist. That's why when people tell me when they use the word narcissist, I'm like, that's a big word that a lot of people use, but when you really meet one, it's rough. I would be happy if you were never born. Can you imagine saying that to your children when they're in grammar school? If you were never born, I would have a good life. I'm like, watch it, lady. You're going to have a good life because I'm going to be gone. She never had a good life. Never. Whew, I haven't thought about any of this stuff in such a long time. I was a mouthy little shit too. Trust me. I can't say that, I was sitting there docile. I do pray for her, by the way, Sophia, but I can't use their names. I pray for the parental unit. That's what I call it. I call them the parental unit, and I pray for them because I never want to see them again. That's why I'm praying for them. And I tell them to God. I say, God, I'm praying for them because I never want to incarnate and go through these dynamics with these souls again. I want them to go to their realm and I'll go to mine. All right, Capricorn, I'm actually going to do your reading now. All right, here we go. Princess of Pentacles. Ooh, Princess of Money. That's messages about money. There's messages coming. Definitely. There's the Prince of Swords. Here is the Hierophant. I know, I lied about it. I said Capricorn a while ago and I lied. Oh, and then we have the Hanged Man. All right. Here, so you know what? Okay, so this is where what I just got the hit. So we have Pluto in your second house now. And this Pluto in your second house is really going to offer you, particularly, an opportunity to move into a new future and to think about how you want to use your skills. And, here it is, your planet, Saturn. Yes, Saturn is initially a difficult planet. I'm not going to say that because if I said it wasn't, it would be a true lie. But Saturn, in that, as we age, which is where Saturn starts to give the reward, because initially we start to build for other people. We're trained as humans to do that. So on some level, as Pluto went through your first house and now has entered your second house, you're being offered an opportunity to use your skills, your talents to bring in resources and money and start rebuilding as you come from your heart. Do you see that this earth sign is coming from her heart? She's protected by the bear. The swan is showing the transformation. There are new ideas and new opportunities, potentially real messages that are coming through. Now, I want to say this too, because some of those messages for Capricorn could be, we see the sword in between the two crows, right? Rah, rah. And we see these butterflies they're sort of beige. They haven't got their full color yet. So here, the strong connection that your ruling planet is calling forth in Pisces is creating that connection with the divinity within. Okay, so Teri says that inside of me is something much more loving and much more fun than I recognize. Thank you, God, for giving me signs and omens. When I see this, and it doesn't have to be a butterfly or a hummingbird, it could be a turtle, it could be a lion, it could be whatever you want, because it's definitely time to spend alone or within communication. This is a pause for an illumination, but it's also a divine energy. There's divinity to be had. So somewhere you're going to get, Capricorn, a divine message about taking your skills, your talents, and moving them into a new level of creation. You couldn't see it very easily, but in this Princess of Pentacles, there are two deers, a stag and a deer. Look at how big the horns are on the stag. You have the equipment. It's time to move forward. And this is not about moving forward physically now, because normally Capricorn is going to want to climb the mountain. This is about preparing and connecting with spirit before you take that climb. I say climb only because you're a goat and you enjoy climbing. Parents are so important. It's why I didn't become one. I was not prepared during that stage in my life to be a good parent. I could have been a loving parent, but I would have been the kind of parent that said things like, I don't care what everyone else is doing. You're my kid. No, I don't think that would have been fun. I want to be the parent that goes, okay, you can have whatever you want. Yeah, CC Pups, but I have the South Node in Aries, so I learned some of my behaviors from them, but some of them I learned because of them. You know what I mean? Like, the weaker they were, the braver I became. The more they said that I couldn't do something, the more I was like, watch me. Watch me. And I live in my apartment for 21 years, overlooking the ocean. Most of my regular clients that don't come to the house, that only see me on the internet, sometimes I'll show them my view and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know you lived that close to the ocean. I'm living my grandmother's dream. When my grandmother was raising me, she would sit in the kitchen and she would do astrology in 1960 and something in 1960s and 70s. She was doing it by hand and figuring it out mathematically. And she loved Laguna. She brought me her own, down here one summer. We stayed in a hotel and we went to the Sawdust Festival, and she loved art. I'm literally living her dream. So when I do astrology, I call her and I say, I don't call her, she's dead, but I'm like, Grandma, come join me. Let's have fun today. Let's play astrology. So yeah, the parental unit served a purpose. It just wasn't fun. And that's why I got out of it so fast. All right, Aquarius, here we go. 2 more signs. The Empress. Oh, I love that. That is a wonderful energy. New beginnings, birthing things, all the resources are here. And we have the Devil card. Oh, that could be Pluto going through you. Oh, the Fool. Ha ha ha. And the Hierophant. Okay, Aquarius got 4 major arcana cards. This is huge. Okay, so my Aquarians, especially the younger you are, we always think about the Aquarius, the nervous system. I'm so anxious. I'm so weird. I'm so unique. I'm so different. I'm so, this is really a receiving energy. It's time to receive your bounty. Look at the star. That star is being held by an owl. That's where the wisdom comes. You have everything. Look at the 2 moons underneath. Now, this Scorpio, I'm not talking about you coming from somebody else's idea or emotions. I'm not asking you to. This is not about somebody else's emotions. This is about you this week. This is about going on an adventure that follows your heart and your emotions, not the Capricorny energy. You're co-ruled by Saturn, which I think is very interesting because Saturn killed Uranus. Uranus then gave Saturn anxiety because when Saturn had children, Saturn's like, my kids are going to kill me now. That's the big myth. But here, this is like the reason, maybe, who knows why Saturn, I don't remember why Saturn killed Uranus, but maybe there was a good reason because this is about connecting again. Aquarius, Pluto's going to go retrograde in your first house. It's literally asking you, who do you want to be from the deepest level of your heart? And if for some reason you see things that nobody else can see, rocket ships, Star Wars, Elon Musk type shit, that's fine. It's time to give birth to that because you're going on a huge journey right now. You're literally starting a 20-year process of rebirthing yourself from the depths of your soul. Yes, I do. I'll show you in a minute. I'll show you guys at the end of the broadcast. I really believe that the whole paradigm of the earth is going from horse and buggy to locomotive to the car to space. And the next 20 years are bringing that in. And I think somewhere your talents and your skills are coming into fruition. So I want you to keep your eye on the prize, especially this week. If old things come up that make you feel tethered to something, I think it's about that's rebelling against it. Nope, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. Thank you, Spirit, for shifting my thoughts. Okay, I hope that helped. No, this is juice, and it's in a mason jar, but it does have grapes on it. No, I haven't had any wine, no margaritas, no nothing. And not for any particular reason. There was no plan. This was not a plan. I think actually it has something to do with my dead boyfriend, my boyfriend, non-boyfriend. Remember, he died January 2nd. He was an alcoholic. I think he inspired non-drinking in me from the soul perspective. I don't know why. Maybe it was a gift he gave me that he couldn't give himself. All right, to our final sign, which is our Pisces, where everything is happening. You are on, literally the spotlight is on you, which may make you feel very uncomfortable because you're used to being in your bedroom with your brush, singing those songs, wishing you were on American Idol. Now you're on stage, the camera's on, and everybody's watching. What are you going to do? Looks exciting. You don't like the spotlight. I know, but the stars have decided it's your turn. Well, I don't know about your turn, Pisces' turn. All right, here we go. Rising moon. Now I'm going to have when the lights go down in the city and the moon shines on the bay. I'm going to start breaking out into song now. Oh, I want to be. I won't do it because I'm no Steve Perry. Well, just if you get Design Home app, you may be, I don't know if you're into designing rooms, but you'll never leave your house. You'll just be like, wait, and then you get scored and you want to see how well you do. Okay. All right, my Pisces, before we start, I just want you to know this. You are amazing creatures, and the stars are offering you a great opportunity to step into that energy. And even if you want to stay in your bedroom and write love songs, nobody says that you have to stand in the spotlight. But the stars are spotlighting what it is that you want, where it is you want to be, grow, go, etc. And I don't think that you'll be able to swim away from that. So let's see. The King of Swords, again. The Four of Pentacles. The Judgment card. They just installed cameras on the highway this last week, and all these crazy lunatics going 90 miles an hour on their motorcycles. I don't know if you heard that. They're all going to get tickets, I hope. Oh boy. All right. This is a little bit as the planet. Okay, so a couple things are happening. First of all, we've got the retrograde. So the planets are going to station. Mercury's going to station, and Venus is going to station. And there's something's coming up for you that's going to illuminate where you've been in your own way. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it. I'm not drinking. This is juice. This is lemonade. This is berry juice. I'm not drinking. I haven't drank for 3 months. So, and I'm on my 4th month. So just so you know, in case it was unclear, I'm not drinking. This is Pisces. It's time to kind of come from a more intellectual point of view, to really connect with the leader inside of you for what you want for the future. Each one of the kings holds a shield. This particular shield comes from your intellect, and it also comes from your passion and what you want on the sacral level. Because a lot of what you've evolved in many ways, but you're still swimming around in the old story of being stuck. It's time to recognize and let that go. To literally start to stare not at the cold mountains of Pluto, but at the future and the colors and the protection that the bear offers, the stars offer, the eagle offers, because you're too focused in on where you've been restricted. And again, the devil for me is always sort of reversed. Are you living the life that you want? Are you being authentic to it? Are you inadvertently being so compassionate to another energy that you're drowning in it, or it's not recognizing you or seeing you or offering you your just due? Pisces as a first house is extremely important. It's not 12th house energy. It's me energy. Me energy that has to do with moving my creativity, my sense of spirituality, my Piscean dreamy life forward. And it's kind of, I think it's time to stop telling the historic story, the old story. It's time to step out of the bubble. Virgos, yeah, and that's going to become that's another thing about the South Node going through Virgo right now. Okay, look at this. I just pulled a clarification card for my Pisces. This is the Fool again. Mars going on a journey that is based on the emotional body as he follows the stars. Your soul knows something, Pisces. It knows something about you that sometimes your personality or your ego might not let you see. So when you reframe the ego from edging God out into exciting God opportunities, you're going to be inspired. And I think that's where Neptune moving into your 2nd house will bring in a brave new adventure of birthing you, your skills, and maybe even a little bit more of that spiritual warrior. Think of the Knights of the Round Table, darling. Think of the Knights of the Round Table. All right, so that's it for today. Sorry, we got a little sad and dark talking about the parental units. But, we all have our journey. I also come from mid-century modern, where, child abuse was kind of a normal thing. It's so sad to say. All right. And I want to offer this because I want to reframe some words. You guys aren't broken and you don't need to be healed. The black spots make the color pop. So this is all about balance. Okay. And the balance is, oh, I know this is temporary. The balance is, oh, there's a divine disruption that's giving me an opportunity to see a bigger part of myself. Oh, Cece Pups, I didn't think think I was drinking. I've never drank on this show. And if I did, I would tell you. I'd like, let's have a margarita together. Trust me. You know me. If I was offended, you guys, some of you were there the day I melted down and cried. Do you remember that live, that Sunday when I had to turn it off and I cried? I'm really authentic. So if you hurt me, you hurt me, and I'll tell you. But most of you, I love y'all. Y'all you're my peeps. All right. Yes, Grandma and Grandpa were awesome for me. So they anchored things in. All right, that's it. Okay, we're coming on the Easter week. I forgot about that too. I always want to get straight to the punch. I should be doing more announcements. We have Palm Sunday, I think, coming up or something like that. I'm gonna be here next Sunday, but we're gonna take Easter Sunday off, everybody. Go on a little break. And so we'll see you next week. I will be here on Wednesday afternoon if the construction on the window affords me. I'm going to have to put a note up on the community board and let you know about that. And I'm going to do a little vote and see if y'all prefer the tarot card readings on a monthly basis or on the personals on a weekly basis. I tend to think you'll like the personals on a weekly basis, but one of them has got to go. I just don't have enough bandwidth right now with Neptune. Well, enjoy the winery, Stephen. Have a toast for me. And I'll see you soon, everybody. I love you. Bye.